Okay, welcome back to our PCM career mode. Last episode started off pretty well with a stage win at the UAE Tour in the time trial with Ivan Romeo, followed by a pretty nice podium by Romeo again in GC. But I think it's fair to say the start of our classic season wasn't that great, with Paul Magny only finishing 16th at Omloop. Honestly, I was hoping for a lot more than that. Now, technically, the next World Tour race is Paris-Nice, but I reckon I'll skip that on camera because we don't have a proper list of riders there. Tirreno-Adriatico is what we'll ride instead, and afterwards we'll stay in Italy for the first monument of the season, Milano-Sanremo. And of course, last year we won that monument, so this year I want to do it again. Anyway, as I said, our first race will be Tirreno-Adriatico with a couple of sprint stages in it, but most importantly, the mountaintop finish on Sassotetto on stage 5. And one day later, one of those typical Tirreno Muri stages with lots of steep climbs. Oh yeah, and the final stage is a 10-kilometer time trial that I think Ivan Romeo will be pretty happy about. But Lorenzo Finn, not so much. Ouch, Tadej Pogacar is present at this race with a monster team. Almeida, Ayuso, Jorgensen, that is crazy. Also Jonas Vingegaard at Visma Leasebike together with Richard Carapaz, that's such a weird duo. And Soudal Quickstep has both a GC rider in Remco Evenepoel and a top sprinter in Tim Merlier. Jonathan Milan also present for the sprints, and Jasper Philipsen for Alpecin de Koning. So yeah, both in mountains and sprints, we're up against the absolute best. Now, Lorenzo Finn is not a pancake, but he's also no Tadej Pogacar, so I think a top 5 is my goal in GC. But for the sprint stages, like stage 1 for example, Matthias Kopecky is our man with 76 sprint stat. Against the likes of Jonathan Milan, Jasper Philipsen and Tim Merlier, getting a podium in a sprint is already a fantastic outcome. Here we go, the race has begun. Matthias Kopecky starting off with a 0 day, so 78 sprint stat, I'm pretty happy with that. The last 10 kilometers look pretty straightforward, but my sprint train is already on the rails on the left side of the road. Meanwhile, Finn is following the wheel of Tim Merlier to stay in position as well. 5.5 kilometers to go, Romeo can go right now, Schwarzbacher out of the way. A pretty perfect lead out so far. Energel on Kopecky. Come on boys, keep yourself at the front. Romeo is almost done for, so Kopecky, Tomasz can take over right now and can start his sprint pretty soon right now to lead Maganotti to the final 1.5 kilometers right now. There we go. Matthias Kopecky in the wheel looking pretty fantastic. There we go. Late launch, but Jonathan Milan is simply too fast for us. Ackermann as well. And Donati getting fat. So right off the podium, a 4th place on this one. To be honest, that was a near perfect lead out by the team. So I think Matthias Kopecky simply wasn't fast enough. 4th place is not the podium we are hoping for, but based on today, I think a podium is possible in a sprint here. So let's keep trying. And I reckon stage 2 might be the one. Once again a sprint stage, another opportunity. A bit of a random rant, but this guy, Jonas Vingegaard, is riding the real-life Giro d'Italia as the massive favorite, and his competitors are dropping out of the race one by one before the race is even starting. In reality, Jonas Vingegaard will probably take a comfortable lead in the first 10 days and then be defensive for the rest of the race, and as someone who loves unpredictable close racing, that's a bit boring. Anyway, I'd love to hear your take on the Giro start list. Drop it in the comments below. Anyway, in the last 6.5 kilometers and my sprint train is properly on the race. Maganotti with the energy gel, Romeo about to launch right now. We've got Jordi Meus moving up. Now it's time for Tomasz Kopecky after this corner. Maganotti looking pretty solid so far, so that is good. Kopecky's ready to launch his sprint pretty soon at right now. Maganotti, move up buddy. Come on Alessio, there we go. Sprint launched a bit too late there I'm afraid, but gonna try anyway. I lost some momentum, but it's not gonna be today, that's for sure, because Jonathan Milan wins again ahead of Philipsen. When Thomas's turn was done, I simply switched too late to Alessio and we lost our momentum. As simple as that. And this results page is pretty damn brutal. 16th, 17th and 18th, so awful outcome. Anyway, sprints to the side. Stage 3 is a punchy parkour, quite different, and the last climb is called Poggio Murella. Like, I don't speak Italian, but I think that translates to Hill of Wool, which sounds pretty steep. Of course, Tadej Pogacar is the favorite, but I hope to finish somewhere in the top 5 with Lorenzo Finn, our guy. Okay, the stage has started and the breakaway has formed. Lorenzo Finn starts with a 80 hill stat, so that should be enough to compete. The peloton is zigzagging on this climb left and right, but there's 26 kilometers left, basically 2.5 climbs left, but the steep third cat climb is where it's at. The Poggio Murella. That is where Lorenzo Finn needs to deliver. That climb is approaching as we speak right here. 3.7 kilometers at 6.8%, but an attack by Mr. Mauro Schmidt right now. We've got Sobrero on the right side of the road trying to control that. I'm trying to keep myself safe at the front for now. There we go. Schmidt has been caught. Romeo is now pacing on 90. It's only a kilometer to the top, so maybe I should try to attack on this climb with the likes of Omerzel with Finn in the wheel. That would be nice right now. Let's do it. There we go. There comes the move. Romeo's done for. Anyone following my boys, I don't know, but I'm doing 99 over the top with my two riders. Garofoli almost in the wheel. Baudin's trying to close it down, but no, a gap of 10 seconds. So come on, Omerzel, keep on going. I think we're getting caught though. Actually, they're sitting up in the peloton. No, they are still pacing. Very confusing. 20 seconds is now the gap. Omerzel going 99 full attack in the downhill. Finn with energy gel. Come on, boys, we've got this. Last 2.7 kilometers. Now it's uphill, so I don't think I can afford to keep on attacking. It's now Lorenzo Finn on 93. Omerzel can try to protect, but the last kilometer is incoming and they're so far behind, so Finn can launch. Lorenzo Finn is going to win right now on this beautiful stage of Tirreno-Adriatico. There he goes, celebrating over the line. Lorenzo Finn. The peloton is not too far behind, just about 18 seconds for Remco Evenepoel in 3rd place and Tadej Pogacar in roughly 6th. Honestly, it's pretty unrealistic that not a single GC leader tried to follow or attack. But hey, I'm not complaining, taking home stage 3 of Tirreno-Adriatico with a proper gap on the other GC riders, so that means Lorenzo Finn is the new leader of Tirreno-Adriatico by 24 seconds on Remco Evenepoel. Gotta say, that feels good. And of course, it's mostly thanks to his teammate Jakob Omerzel finishing in 2nd place as well. Anyway, Tadej Pogacar is now in 6th place on 28 seconds, so still very much the favorite. Okay, stage 4 is a mountain stage, but a pretty unusual one. We've got the Forca di Gualdo climb, roughly with 40 kilometers to go, then a few smaller climbs and a downhill finish. Undoubtedly, Tadej Pogacar is the favorite, and I was hoping to maybe take some more time on Pogacar with Lorenzo Finn before the next mountain finish on stage 5, but on this stage, I'm not feeling it. I think it's all about defending our jersey. I think if the stage was relived, then maybe I'd want to get a satellite rider into the breakaway to attack on one of these climbs towards my satellite rider to try and get away from the peloton, but it's Pro Cycling Manager, so I don't think it's possible. Next to that, every candidate satellite rider in my team like Omerzel is on 15 seconds, Romeo on 28 seconds, so the break would not get a gap, so I think I'll have to play it from the peloton with Lorenzo Finn today. Despite our Lorenzo Finn being the leader of the race, Quickstep with Remco Evenepoel is spending their entire team trying to catch the breakaway, so I'm having to do absolutely nothing. This is perfect. Anyway, the break is starting that first climb, 9.2 kilometers at 8.3%, so a pretty serious climb, and Kobe Goossens is dropping the rest of the breakaway right now, but his gap is like 20 seconds on the peloton, and actually, the peloton is massively accelerating with the team of UAE Team Emirates, so let's make sure we don't drop. On the steepest section of the climb as we speak, Pogacar having his team pace quite hard, still 150 people in the peloton though, and Finn's looking pretty fantastic, so we're looking good. The climb is now almost done for in the last kilometer, and still 100 people in this group, so barely any damage, and right there, this is the top, so quite disappointing. And the second of these 3 climbs actually does not look that dangerous, so I should survive that one pretty easily. Oh snap, attacked by Remco Evenepoel and Tadej Pogacar on the second climb, so kind of surprising. Visma Lease Bike and Picnic to the front now pacing, so let's hope they can catch those 2 riders. Tadej Pogacar is pushing out of every corner in this downhill with Remco Evenepoel in the wheel. Gap is 16 seconds to Mes Pedersen pacing. Ooh la la. I'm simply sitting in the group and doing nothing. And there we go. Are they caught? Yes, indeed. Remco and Pog are back in the peloton. Okay then, time for the final climb. Not exactly ideal because I just sent Romeo to get water a bit too late. Finn and Omerzel in a good position, and the peloton's back to 80 riders, so a large group again. And from the start, the tempo of UAE Team Emirates is skyrocketing. I'm trying to move up. Is that Remco once again? Yes, Remco Evenepoel attacking. Tadej Pogacar not in the wheel this time. Come on, Finn. 1k to the top. Move up, move up. Omerzel can take over right now from Romeo in terms of protection. Should I attack? I think I might try to attack towards Remco over the top here. There we go. There goes Finn. We've got multiple riders with us. I'm okay with that. Let's relay with a group of 5 riders? So, in the group is Ciccone, Tiberi at Picnic Postenel, Pogacar, and Remco Evenepoel. So, a pretty strong group. I'm trying to recover some of my red bar here because the sprint is upcoming and I'm destined to lose that sprint. Looks like Jonas Vingegaard has now caught back up in the last 3 kilometers. Come on, Finn. Get ready, boy. Get ready. I'll launch early. There goes Finn. There goes Finn with 2 kilometers to go and no instant reaction. This might be my opportunity. Was that a master stroke? We've got a proper gap and last 500 meters, Pogacar is coming. Tadej Pogacar is coming. Come on, Finn. Come on, come on, come on. No! Oh my god. On the line, we are taken back by Tadej. And he wins. We don't. That was such a well-timed move by Lorenzo Finn, but in the end, it simply wasn't enough. Anyway, getting beaten by Tadej Pogacar and finishing second on this one with Lorenzo Finn, that's not a shame, so I'm quite happy. Because while we do lose 4 bonus seconds to Tadej Pogacar, we gain some time on Remco and Vingegaard. And I'll be honest, we're gonna need that time for what comes next. Stage 5 of Tirreno-Adriatico is a mountaintop finish on Sassotetto. Not the hardest climb in the world, but obviously, Tadej Pogacar is still the favorite. And despite Lorenzo Finn being the 10th favorite on this list, I'm kind of hoping for a podium on this stage. Because, well, I think that's the result we're gonna need if we want to top 5 this race at the end, knowing a time trial's coming on the next day. Come on, Lorenzo Finn, today is your day. I believe in you. Okay, the start of the stage is actually climby, so I gotta get all my boys to the front to make sure they are in a good position and don't get dropped directly. So there we go. Lots of riders attacking into the breakaway, but I'm kind of hoping that UAE Team Emirates starts to control break formation, which they are seemingly doing on the left side of the road, so that is nice. But I think I want to talk about the final climb for a second. Sassotetto is about 10 kilometers at maybe 7.5%, so it's not the longest climb in the world, which means Lorenzo Finn will most likely be pacing anywhere from 77 to 87 on the final climb, which means that medium mountain stat comes into play. And well, as you can see, Lorenzo Finn is pretty good at medium mountain with 83 stat on that today, so I'm happy. Anyway, just about halfway the stage and the break is 11 riders 6 minutes ahead with Fred Wright being the closest in GC on 5:38, so I'm not that scared of this breakaway, if I'm being honest. And actually, I'm hoping the breakaway wins because then they would be taking bonus seconds away from Tadej Pogacar. Oh shit, Finn is down, Finn is crashed, that is bad, that is really bad. He's in a second peloton now, let's drop back with literally everybody right now, everybody that doesn't matter at least, there we go. Worst case, Omerzel becomes our de facto leader because he's still in second place in GC. I can't believe it, Mr. Finn hits the deck and UAE Team Emirates start shredding it in the peloton ahead. That is vile behavior. Lorenzo Finn is now so far behind. We are so far behind. 1 minute 30. Just about 15k left to the foot of the final climb and the gap is now up to 2 minutes. So this is over for Lorenzo Finn. I cannot believe it. A fantastic race so far, but before the climb even starts, his race is over. Oh my god, Tomasz Kopecky down, Matthias Kopecky down. The riders that were pacing for Lorenzo Finn are gone now as well. What is happening? Okay, I guess it's your time to shine. Jakob Omerzel is our new leader. The final climb is coming. Okay, the climb has properly begun. Not exactly the best position for Jakob Omerzel, but I'm trying my absolute best, okay? The tempo is gigantic by Juan Ayuso, Carapaz, Jorgensen, luxury domestiques. I've got nothing like that. I've got Ivan Romeo. Oh snap, is that a move? Is that a move? No, Pogacar. Yes, Pogacar is going in the wheel of Antonio Tiberi. Come on, buddy. Come on, Omerzel. Keep on following as much as you can, but following Pogacar, that will simply not happen. He's flying away past the breakaway and he's gonna win the stage. And it's Jorgensen, his teammate, pacing him down? Come on, Omerzel, try to hold on to this second group. We can try and get a top 5 here in GC. Simply hold on, buddy. Past Laurens de Plus, come on. We gotta catch rider by rider here. Max van der Meulen is next, then Van Wilder, Arendsman, and so forth. We're not looking good, but I gotta keep pushing. Final kilometer incoming, and I just don't have the energy, but there goes Jorgensen. He pops. We fly past him, and the winner is gonna be, as expected, Tadej Pogacar ahead of Jonas Vingegaard. We're not that far behind, to be honest, but we're about to run out of red bar, so this is not good. This is not good at all. We're gonna beat Mr. Van Wilder on the finish line in 7th place. Ay. That was an absolute disaster, but everyone crashed except for Omerzel. To be honest, Tadej Pogačar won with quite a decent gap, 41 seconds on Jonas, 45 on Evenepoel, and 132 on our man, Jakob Omerzel. After the crash, we tried our absolute best to get Lorenzo Finn back, but it simply was not possible, so he finishes on 7 minutes and 52 seconds, so absolute disaster. Which means we obviously lose our jersey to Tadej Pogačar, the new leader of Tirreno-Adriatico. Jakob Omerzel tried his absolute best to replace Lorenzo Finn as our leader, but in GC, on a minute 39, in 7th place. But with a 10k time trial on the final day and a 61 prologue stat on Omerzel, I don't expect to compete for a top 5 here. If anything, securing our top 10 will be difficult. That said, there's one more stage before we get to the time trial, which is this stage right here, a Muri stage, so lots of hills. To be honest, with 74 hill stat, I don't think much is possible, but I'll try to make the race hard, hoping that someone in that top 10 gets in trouble. But I think we're gonna need a miracle. Honestly, I'm actually so salty about Lorenzo Finn because he was doing so well, then he crashes and it's all gone. But like I said before, I'm gonna try and make the last part of this race as hard as possible for Omerzel to maybe move up in GC. So first of all, the breakaway is 28 riders in total, which is absolutely crazy. UAE Team Emirates is trying to control this breakaway, but they're not doing a very good job. But secondly, I want to take a look at the Lotto riders in this breakaway. Axel Laurence, fine. Oscar Onley, and Mikel Landa in 2028 with still a pretty decent mountain stat, 78. Honestly, Lotto is now a completely different team. Anyway, with about 60k to go in the race, I've got myself pacing in the peloton with my sprinter Magagnotti, but the gap to the break is still 3 minutes 40. I don't care about the breakaway. I care all about trying to make it as hard as possible in the peloton. And I think I really want to try and push it on this next climb, the Loreto climb right here on 95 with Magagnotti, but he won't last too long, so let's switch to Schwarzbacher right now in this corner on 99 maybe. Is that too much? Maybe, but I'll try it anyway. I want to try and damage the peloton as much as possible. Looks like a group of 39 riders off the back, but the peloton is still 90 riders, so a bit of damage, but not too much. Once again, onto that same Loreto climb with about 25 kilometers now, 97 on Tomasz Kopecky. Romeo is next already, so let's get him ready on 95 to launch himself right now out of the wheel of Kopecky with Finn and Omerzel in the wheel. Let's do 99 over the top and try to split it a bit because still 100 people in this peloton. Oh, that's a split on the next climb. Half the peloton just stopped spacing, so I'm not complaining. 59 riders left. The name cards you see, those are riders in the top 10 of GC, so those are the ones I'm trying to drop. Romeo keeps on pacing, but there's only 1.5 climbs left, so not that much to work with. On to the second last climb. Romeo's gonna straight up attack from the front with my teammates in the wheel. Come on, buddy. 99 over the top. We will actually pace with Finn, because otherwise we won't keep this going. We've got 3 riders off the front now with a gap of 15 seconds, but Sobrero is closing it down. This won't go anywhere, but hopefully it puts someone in danger. Over the top, Arensman is towards the back of the group, but I don't see any splits outside of the 10-second gap I've got right here, which I'm trying to keep on 90 right now at Finn. Come on, Finn. Keep on pacing. It's 6k to go, so just go 96 or something. Almeida's pacing behind, but they're not exactly closing. By the way, the breakaway is winning the stage. I forgot to mention, but I'm going to try and take over right now with Omerzel with 3 kilometers to go. Finn, buddy. Finn, buddy. Protect Omerzel as long as possible. Last 2.5 kilometers. Come on, Omerzel. It's a climb to the finish. I can't go too hard right now. I got to make sure I've got the energy to the line. Come on, Omerzel. 93 into the last kilometer, but there comes Pogačar, and he's simply going to fly away from the peloton behind. But can we take any time on anyone else? That is the real question. Up the road, the winner seems to be Luke Plapp from this gigantic breakaway. Such a chaotic stage, but there's a chance there's a gap here too. Where's Arensman and so forth? In Narnia in the group, so I think I'll be gaining time on some riders here. Let's try to finish with the likes of Ciccone and so forth. Mr. Finn waits, so a gap exists. There we go. Don't wait on the finish line. Actually finish. Whew. That is done. Honestly, that was such a chaotic final that I don't know what actually happened. Did we gain any time? I'm not sure. A pretty nice stage win for Luke Plapp, but we have to scroll down so much to see our own riders here, and there's no gap. I can't believe it. Everybody is in the same time. We've been robbed. We're now on a minute 47 of Tadej Pogacar in GC, and we didn't move at all. We're still in 7th place, so keeping our top 10 in GC will be extremely difficult. 61 prologue is just a horrible stat for Jakob Ommerzel. Even Laurens de Plus in 11th place is 71, that is 10 stats more. Honestly, I think I'm cooked, chat. And despite Ivan Romeo always performing in 10km time trials, I don't think he can beat the likes of Remco Evenepoel and Filippo Ganna, better prologue riders. But okay, Jakob Ommerzel, today's time trial is the most important ride of your entire life. It's time to deliver. There we go, Ivan Romeo on the road on 90. Let's drop that down to maybe 86 right now. First time check right here, let's take a look. We are 3rd place right now, 15 seconds behind Ganna, so that might not be good enough. Reality is, because the time trial is so short, it's not about the yellow bar at all. It's all about the red bar. In the last kilometer, let's take a look at Romeo's time on 88 to the finish line, and we get 3rd on the line, 27 seconds behind, but Remco Evenepoel is still to come, so I think we'll just be off the podium. Now it's time for our most important rider. I feel like I've switched my strategy when it comes to these prologues, because back in the day, I basically did the same tempo the entire time trial. Now I start off a bit faster with a bit of a sprint to get up to speed before lowering it to maybe 86, 85. Based on my attempts, I think that's better. Ommerzel does have a pretty good day today. We've got 64 prologue on the day, so it's better than 61. First time check on a minute 21. Ay, ay, ay. We are literally getting passed at the moment by Thymen Arensman. That is shameful. In the last stretch with Jakob Ommerzel, this is not gonna be a good time trial. Let's take a look at our time. 2 minutes 44. What? It feels like he's not even trying. He's literally cycling backwards. In the end, Filippo Ganna is the winner of this time trial, and we finished 4th with Ivan Romeo, so a pretty decent ride by him. But we are 10th in GC. Yes! 3 minutes 41 behind. Jakob Ommerzel delivers. I can't believe it. And actually, we take the white jersey by a single second on Max van der Meulen. We take home a distinctive jersey at Tirreno-Adriatico. That is crazy! Honestly, I did not see this coming. I can't believe we took home a top 10 position by a single second, and also the white jersey by a single second. Max van der Meulen, man, in the mud. Like, if we look at our race, despite Finn crashing, we got a stage win, a top 10 in GC, and a white jersey, so I think that's a good race for us. If we look at our full season so far, that leaves us with 7 World Tour wins so far, so I reckon that's a good start to the season. But with Tirreno behind us, it's time for a bigger Italian race. We're going to Milano-Sanremo, the first monument of the season. Every single one of you knows the parkour. The last 30-40 kilometers is what matters with the Cipressa and the Poggio in a very long 290-kilometer race. The favorite is Jonathan Milan. That's a bit unrealistic, but I think we've got a really big chance to win this race. We won it last time with Kubish, but now we've got Paul Magnier, 79 Hillstad and 77 Sprint. Honestly, we can't lose this. But also the team around Magnier is super strong with Morgado, Kopecky, Kubish, Watson and so forth. So yeah, time to jump in and try to win a monument. By the way, as most of you know, next to playing Pro Cycling Manager, I also love riding my bike myself. But cycling can be a pretty expensive sport, and that's where Sirocco comes in. Sirocco is a cycling clothing company that makes quality cycling kit for an affordable price. For example, their Aspen and Kaufman bib shorts are perfect for shorter rides, especially for beginners who don't want to spend 200 euros for a bib short. And for longer rides, I use their SRX Elite bib shorts, basically their highest level bib shorts, and they're still affordable. Back in 2024, I finished the Paris-Roubaix Sportive with these bib shorts without a single saddle sore. That's when you know they're pretty good. Anyway, if you like what you see, you can now get 10% off any Sirocco products through the link in the description or using code BenjiNasen. Check out Sirocco. Honestly, imagine being at the start of a 290km Milano-Sanremo and there's torrential rain falling upon you for 6-7 hours. I would quit at the start. And actually, even worse, imagine being Davide Stella, the sole rider in the breakaway for 6-7 hours. That is the definition of human torture. But as we have a pretty long race ahead of us, I think I want to talk about the monuments we've had so far this season in real life, starting with Milano-Sanremo, won by Tadej Pogacar in a 2-up sprint after Pogacar crashing before the Cipressa. That was crazy. Then it was time for the Tour of Flanders with Pogacar against Mathieu van der Poel and Remco Evenepoel, which was a very nice twist, but Pogacar won pretty dominantly. When it comes to Paris-Roubaix, you already kind of know my opinion on the race. It was a brutally fantastic race to watch from start to finish. Tadej Pogacar having a mechanical in the early cobble sectors, followed by Mathieu van der Poel having a disastrous mechanical in Truey-Darenberg, then trying to jump on Philipsen's bike, the wrong pedals, absolute chaos. Eventually leading to a situation where Wout van Aert is in a potentially winning position with Tadej Pogacar, and in a sprint, a 2-up sprint in the Velodrome, Wout van Aert wins the race, which was fantastic. Then the last monument so far was Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and the last couple of years of that race were not the most entertaining to watch, but I do feel like Paul Sixas added to the race quite a bit this year, because at least Pogacar had somewhat of competition. If I had to rate them so far, I think I'd put Paris-Roubaix on top, ahead of Milano-Sanremo, then RVV, and then LBL, but I'd love to hear your take in the comment section below. Anyway, with 65 kilometers to go, the race situation is slightly different. Davide Stella has been caught by the peloton, and there's a new 6-man breakaway, but the gap is like a minute 20, so I'm not scared at all. Paul Magnier is looking good and is ready. The peloton is now on the Capo Melee, the first of the 3 Capi, but these won't do anything on Pro Cycling Manager, so it's all waiting for the Cipressa to begin. In real life, the run-up to the Cipressa is the most important part of the race, but in Pro Cycling Manager, the Cipressa kind of doesn't do anything, so while I've got myself in position, it's actually not that important yet. There we go, the break is about to be caught, and we go on to the foot of the Cipressa, 5.8 kilometers, 3.8%, so really not a steep climb. We've got some tempo by Alpecin's Henry Ulich, but we are following quite well. Wait a second, halfway to Cipressa I've realized that Jasper Philipsen is here, but no Mathieu van der Poel. That's crazy. And actually, at UAE Team Emirates, Jan Christen is here, but no Tadej Pogacar. We're literally riding Milano-Sanremo against a bunch of Italian farmers. Anyway, the Cipressa is behind us, now a short valley to the Poggio, but I just gotta keep my position. There we go, onto the Poggio as we speak in a perfect prime position, but my plan is not to attack on this climb, it's to set tempo so that Magnier survives quite well, but I'm also a bit scared of Philipsen because on paper, we are a worse sprinter. Lots of attacks on the right side of the road with a small gap right now, so I want to close that with Alvarez if possible here, but I'm not too scared. Morgado still looking fantastic, so actually Alvarez, oh, what is happening here? Alvarez 99 in the downhill, Morgado in the wheel, then Magnier, that is my plan. Energy Gel on Paul Magnier, I've got a 3-man lead out, which is fantastic for the Via Roma. The attack of Philipsen and so forth has been caught in the downhill. Alvarez with 3.5 kilometers to go in a perfect position right now, replenishing that red bar. I can't sprint yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Right now, Morgado in the wheel. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Morgado can launch right now. Magnier in the perfect position, but so is Philipsen. So is Philipsen. We launch right now, but Philipsen stays in the wheel of Morgado. He's trying to come towards my wheel, but no, it is gonna be Paul Magnier that takes our second Milano-Sanremo in a row. There we go. Woo! Yes! That's our 3rd monument in this series. Honestly, after I called my entire competition a bunch of Italian farmers, it would have looked bad if we lost, but we don't. Paul Magnier, the European champion, wins ahead of famous Italian farmer Jasper Philipsen? Anyway, that is absolutely stunning, and I actually just noticed Antonio Morgado is also on the podium in 3rd place. I think that victory is a perfect ending to this episode. Our team is now in a very comfortable 2nd place in the World Tour ranking, and I forgot to mention Milano-Sanremo was actually a sponsor objective. We had to get a podium, and we got 2 podiums and a victory. Our plan for next episode is basically to take on lots of one-day races like Brugge de Panne, followed by E3 Saxo Classic, Gent-Wevelgem, Dwars door Vlaanderen, the Tour of Flanders, Paris-Roubaix, and maybe also the Hill Classics if I can fit it in one episode. But for now, that is the end of today's episode. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye!